If you're heading into 2026 and you still got the same habits, and that could be bad financial habits, bad health habits, it could be you're stressed because you're not where you want to be from a career perspective. Well, in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how I approach goal setting for the following year. Now, to be more specific, when I talk about goal setting, I'm talking about putting SMART goals in place. And no, I'm not talking about IQ or book smart whenever I talk about SMART goals. So what are SMART goals? So SMART goals are specific. They are measurable. They are achievable. They are relevant, and they are bound by a time frame. So a very quick example of what a SMART goal would be for someone that has never created a financial budget in place is I'm going to put a budget into place, and I'm going to use an app to track my budget on a monthly basis. I'm also going to try to cut out $1,000 on unnecessary expenses. And I'm going to do this by not eating out as much and not going out and just buying a bunch of things that I don't even need. And I want to be able to do this by March 31st of 2026. So it's very easy to go through that goal that I just walked through to determine whether it's a SMART goal or not. So is it specific? Yes, we want to create a monthly budget, and we're going to track that with an app on a monthly basis. Is it measurable? Well, yes, because you want to try to cut out $1,000 of unnecessary expenses, and you'll be able to measure that because you'll have an additional $1,000 in your savings account. Is it achievable? Yes, it's achievable because you've never created a budget before, and it's pretty simple to be able to put that together and be able to start tracking your monthly expenses in an app and save $1,000 by not buying unnecessary things. So that's achievable for most people when they're first starting out. Is it relevant? Yes, you are taking the first step in trying to secure your financial future. And is it time bound? Yes, because we put a time limit on, we want to do this by March 31st of 2026. So when I talk about SMART goals, we have to define them. Once goals are defined, then we have more clarity on what it's going to take to achieve them. The very first goal that I typically start with for the following year is usually a financial goal. And I'll start to write out what I want to achieve. So I would write out something like this. I want to invest an additional $24,000 in 2026 into my brokerage account. I want to increase my Roth 401k contribution by 1%. I want to make sure that I increase the amount that I'm putting into my health savings account by additional $500. I want to make sure that I'm putting an additional $5,000 for 2026 into an account that's going to be used to pay for my daughter's college after she graduates from high school, whether that's a traditional college, a community college, or a technical college. And I also want to pay an additional $12,000 towards my mortgage above and beyond my monthly mortgage payment to help me actually pay off my mortgage much faster. So those would be some examples of the goals that I would set up for the following year. And when I put them in the SMART format, they would look something like this. For 2026, I have the following goals. I want to invest an additional $24,000 for the year into my brokerage accounts. I also am going to increase my 401k contribution by 1%. I'm going to increase my HSA contribution by additional $500 for the year. I'm also going to be putting an additional $5,000 into my daughter's education fund, and I want to pay an additional $12,000 a year on top of my mortgage. I'm going to be tracking my progress on a quarterly basis in my budget app tracker to ensure that I hit my goals by December 31st of 2026. So that's how I would put my SMART goals together for my finances for 2026. Now let's take a look at some goal setting examples from a health and wellness perspective. Now, some of these may be some actual goals that I put into place for 2026, but those goals would look something like this. I want to lose 15 pounds by July 1st of 2026. I want to be able to walk a minimum of 10,000 steps per day starting on January 1st of 2026. I want to make sure that I'm drinking at least 64 ounces of water by January 1st of 2026. I'm going to make sure that I'm in the gym doing strength training at least 3 days a week. And I'm also going to make sure that I stay on top of ensuring that I get a physical every single year. So let's put all of those into SMART format, and then that's how we're going to be able to get our goals that are going to be SMART. I want to lose 15 pounds by July 1st. I'm going to do this by tracking my weight in a weight tracker once a week to ensure that I stay on track. I'm going to be walking at least 10,000 steps per day, and I'm going to be able to track that by wearing my Apple Watch whenever I walk. I'm going to be drinking 64 ounces of water every single day, and I can track that using an app like MyFitnessPal. I'm going to be working out, doing strength training at least 3 days a week. I can also track that in MyFitnessPal. And I'm going to be making sure that I stay on top of getting a yearly physical, and I can track that in my chart. So that would be an example of SMART goals that I would have from a health and wellness perspective. They're all trackable, they're all specific, they're all relevant because our health is extremely relevant, and we have a timetable. By July 1st of 2026, I want to hit all of these goals. If we're talking about leveling up from a personal perspective, as well as a career perspective, these are some of the goals that I may have for myself. I want to read at least 12 professional books for 2026. So that's one book a month. I want to take courses to learn AI prompting because that's the new wave. That's where everything is going. I want to understand AI much better. So I'm going to take some courses to help me understand all things AI, including the prompting process. I want to start going to local meetups and groups where people that share the same industry as me meet up so we can share ideas off of each other and allow me to network and expand my overall network. I'm going to go to my company's HR department. I'm going to understand their education and tuition reimbursement, and I'm going to go get that certification that's going to allow me to level up at my current job, all while using the company to do that. So those would be some of the goals that I would take a look at if I was looking to level up from a career or from just a personal development perspective. And the way that I would put that into SMART format would be something like this. I want to read at least one book a month over the next 12-month period. These books are all going to be professional in nature, and it's going to help me with my personal development. These books are going to be a mixture of finance-related books, health and wellness books, and just general knowledge books. I'm also going to be going to my HR department, and I'm going to ask them about a very specific program that I'm interested in that will allow me to get that promotion at my current job. And I'm going to discuss the tuition and education reimbursement plan that my company offers. I'm also going to go online and I'm going to research local groups in my area that have meetups at least on a quarterly basis, if not quarterly, twice a year. And I'm going to join one of those groups so I can start to expand my network. See, those are very specific goals, right? The number of books that you're going to read on any given year. You're going to be going in and taking a look at your company's tuition and education reimbursement and having a very specific conversation with your HR department so you can actually jump into a program at some point in 2026, which is ultimately going to allow you to get that promotion either at your current job or at a different job. And then you're going to go to these group meetups in your city, which is going to allow you to expand your network. And you're going to do all of that before the end of 2026. Guys, the following year doesn't change just because the calendar does. We have to actively put goals in place that are very specific, very measurable, that will take a substantial amount of work to actually achieve, but are achievable. And that's how we're going to continue to level up and get to the next level. Just remember, the things that I mentioned on this video were just meant to be a template or a blueprint that you can follow. Your goals are going to be completely different from mine, and they're going to be completely different from the next person's. Once you get specific with your goals, it makes things much easier for you to track and manage. And it also is going to help you to understand, are you on track to achieve your goals by the timeline that you set? One thing to keep in mind is even if you set a goal and you have a time frame on it, and you don't hit your goal in that specific time, that doesn't mean that you failed. Maybe you need to go in, reconfigure your goal, reset it, and start over.